Okay, hello everyone. Can everyone hear me and see me? Okay, my name is Darlena Marie. I'm with the New York Cosplayer Network here in New York City, and our group was founded about maybe a good 7 years ago. And we do different forms of cosplay. We have all type of cosplayers from all different genres. Our main reason for starting the group was to do charity work. As someone that has always been involved with community service and doing a lot of things with kids, I wanted to form a group of cosplayers who had a heart for doing community service and charity and being involved in fundraising. So pretty much what we do is we have costume workshops for kids. We also do back to school drives. We do hospital visitations, and we do that with my good friend Nadina Velez, who couldn't be here today. She has a group called Heroes, and they do hospital visitations, especially for children with cancer. We've done events like Christmas parties for St. Mary's, for St. Jude. These are the popular children hospitals. We also have gotten involved in support for our troops. I'm prior service Army, so I'm very much involved with the veteran community and the family support community for activated troops. So we've gone on different military bases like Fort Hamilton here in Brooklyn. When they have a family day, we bring the cosplayers out. We bring kids comic books. We bring all kind of toys for giveaways. We just have a bunch of fun for with the kids. For Free Comic Book Day, which a lot of people know about. That's a like a unofficial national holiday for geeks. We usually dress up and we will get a whole bunch of free comic books we'll give to kids. We usually spend the whole year collecting kids' comic books. A lot of them are donated to us. And sometimes we'll just go and buy some from stores that we have a relationship with, and we just go walk along the street and give out comic books, or we may go to an event that's sponsoring a free comic book day activity, and we'll give out comic books to kids there. So our group really is heavily into community service, but we also do fun photo shoots at different conventions. We've been called on for different media appearances like Good Morning America, and I have a Star Trek contingent which gets called on a lot whenever there's like a new Star Trek movie coming out. So we've done events at the Paley Center. We've done panels at CBS when they had different Star Trek events going on. And we just have a lot of fun as a cosplay group. We are multiracial and we're multi-generational. So our cosplayers can be as young as 18 and they can be as old as 80. Okay, we don't discriminate. Everybody who loves costuming is welcome to join in. So I'm going to give you a little presentation of some of the fun activities that we've done, because as a cosplayer, for those of you who want to cosplay and form groups and do things, one of the reasons why we get called on a lot for media is because we make sure that all our cosplayers have great costumes. Either they purchase by having them custom made, or either they make them themselves. We have seamstresses in our group, professional seamstresses, so they also will help make costumes. And we make sure that when we go out as a group, we always look good, we're well behaved. We don't allow cursing, we don't allow smoking. We've done events for the New York Historical Society. We've done events for the USS Intrepid. So whenever these type of organizations call on us for community activities, we make sure we bring out the best of the best. So we have a lot of good times, a lot of fun, and this helps also sometimes lead to paid performances. So there's been times where we've been contacted for like private affairs, or if there's like a media campaign going on for a certain movie, like when Batman versus Superman came out, we were contacted to provide cosplayers for hire for the different VIP screenings that they had. So sometimes, it leads to that. But our main reason is just the joy and love of costume performing and giving back to the community by, doing fundraising that goes to help community groups and children's groups and youth groups. And this is really at the heart of what we're about. So let me show you this presentation. This will show some of the activities that we do just to get an idea of some of the things that we do. Let me see if I can bring this up. Okay. I'm not sure if you're seeing this. Let me see. So I hit share, I hit application window, I hit this, I hit share, and I'm starting the video. So this is our little video for the things that we do. This is our little logo created by someone in the group. It's always good to have a cool logo. This was an appearance we did on Good Morning America. We had a lot of fun. We had to get up early in the morning, but you know, we were there having a good time. And this was different Marvel cosplayers that we bought, but we had other cosplayers there too. So these are some of the members in our group. Um, this is an event that we did at the convention. We had a photo shoot at a convention, and we also did a panel on cosplaying. This is from New York Comic Con. We had a wonderful DC versus Marvel photo shoot, both inside and outside. That was a lot of fun. And again, we have all kind of cosplayers, even those with disabilities is welcome. We also do fantasy cosplay, so we have folks that are into like, you know, dressing up as mermaids or what have you. This is a panel we did that was covered by News 12. This is some of my Star Trek appearances with George Takei on the Meredith Vieira show. That was a lot of fun. We all came dressed up in Star Trek outfits, and they treated us really well on the TV show. Here's another picture of us at Good Morning America. I hope you all can see this because I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a really great presentation. This is when we were at Paley Center celebrating CBS's All Access Mission New York Star Trek convention that they had at the Javits Center. Oh, this is something really great that we started doing cosplay cabarets where we have cosplayers that are like professional singers and dancers. And we've hosted shows like at WinterCon and EternalCon. This is an event we did at New York Historical Society with the Heroes Foundation. They did a little comic book history here in New York. And again, we had speaker passes for when we do panels at NYCC and we do photo shoots. This is from where we're at St. Mary's Hospital. So, I don't know, you guys are not seeing the screen? Am I sharing the wrong screen? Because I clicked on the application window. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, okay, this works different than Zoom. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to minimize this and see how to pull it up. Um, Pictures. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. So hit application screen. And it's not showing up. Okay, it doesn't seem to capture my screen. I don't know why. Oh, that's sad. Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be able to capture my screen. So I showed this presentation. I was at a panel 2 weeks ago, but they were using the Zoom platform. So I had did a video presentation of showing all of the different type of activities that we were involved in. So I'm sorry you guys can't see it because it's not doesn't seem to be capturing my screen. So different platforms, I guess, work differently. The last panel I did was a Zoom platform. So as soon as I hit shared content, it got my screen and I was able to show it. So I don't know if any of you guys are cosplayers, so I just wanted to see if you guys had questions about cosplaying or how to get into cosplay, or if you do have a cosplay group, what do you guys mainly do? What are you into? Does anyone here have a cosplay group or has been involved in cosplay for a while? Any cosplayers here? Costume performers? Is this an interactive? Can people like speak or anything, or is it only the chat? Oh, you love to sew, but you never cosplay. Oh, okay. Well, if you can sew, you can cosplay. That's for sure. Okay, so one of the things about cosplaying and costume performing in general is you can just always take things out the closet and you can always add to it. I know a lot of people who like to do, like say pirates or any type of fantasy cosplay. We always tell them you can always find things in the in the closet to make a costume out of, and that's kind of like the place to start. Is also the most inexpensive place to start. Um, as you get into it more, then you can always hook up with people who know how to sew, and they can make a costume for you. Or you can always buy a costume, and then like in the group like ours, people who buy costumes out the store, we usually help embellish it. We help to kind of like boost it up a little bit. So we'll make modules for them and we'll sew it on and kind of make it look a little bit more less like store bought and more like professional. But it is a wonderful thing to do. Again, it can be expensive. It depends. Some cosplayers, like particularly the ones that are really professional and they do a lot of competition, they can spend upwards to like $2,000-3,000 on a costume. It all depends on how far you want to go with it. Like I said, with us, because we mainly do charity, we do spend on our costumes. My most expensive costume was Aveline from Assassin's Creed, and I had all metal. Um, Props, and it was made of all leather, and that came to about maybe a little over 2,000 because it was all leather and all the props I had to have made, and they were made of steel. So all that it can be a little bit pricey. But I know cosplayers that have spent up to like $5,000 on like say a big war machine type of outfit, where it's a lot of parts and it's made with really good strong materials, and usually pay someone to make it, so then you have to pay them for their time. But then some people like to do just minor cosplay like anime. A lot of it is just taking regular clothes and you can embellish on them and just make a prop. And usually a lot of times with anime cosplay is wigs. A lot of people buy wigs to try to match their character. Some people don't wear wigs, some people do. So depending on what you want to cosplay, you decide how far you want to go with it, how much money you're willing to spend, and what kind of materials you want. I always tell cosplayers, like, if you are the type of performer that you like to do a lot of movement and you like to do a lot of leg extensions when you take pictures and you want to really get into your character, I usually tell everyone to get four-way stretch materials. So when we talk about materials that are going to add to the lavish look of your cosplay, it's important to know the different type of materials that are out here. So like two-way and four-way stretch. A two-way stretch is good, but a four-way stretch is even better if you like to do a lot of posing and leg extensions, particularly like Spider-Man outfits. The four-way stretch, because it stretches four ways, so it really moves with your body really good. And we use a lot of materials that are mixed. So there'll be like spandex and cotton and gabardine all mixed together. Usually it's always at least a two mixture type of material we use. And we go shopping here in New York City. We go shopping at the Garment District, which is a really popular place to go shopping. And you find all type of materials. That's where a lot of people buy the materials to make the costumes for the performers in Broadway plays. And it's like just a slew of about maybe 20-30 shops. And it has everything from all types of materials to all types of trim. And so a lot of cosplayers go there, and we go there shopping as a group. We have a deal with some of the places. This is another thing. If you have a group, it's real good to try to work out deals like at costume stores and material stores, and what we do is we go and we say, hey, we have like, 20, 30 cosplayers, and we will consistently come and buy from your store if you give us a group discount. So at some of the costume stores as well as comic book stores, we have group discounts. So people go in and they'll say our name, and the people will look it up, and it has my name and the two other organizers. That way people will know that they're in our group. And they'll get a discount. And the same thing as some of the costume stores, because normally our people are like 20 or 30 strong. So, when you have that consistency of people going into your store, you don't mind giving them a discount. So this is something that you can do if you are a cosplayer and you have a group, try to work out deals with local stores, even comic book stores, particularly like if you do charity. The comic book stores that we have deals with, because we do charity, we go to them and we say, okay, we have an event coming up. It's going to be maybe 10, 20 kids. And what they do is they'll donate some comics to us, and then the others they'll sell to us like really cheap. So, but this is over the course of years of doing this. Even though we're only like 7 years old, constantly doing events is what builds your brand and gets people's attention, and then that helps you to work out deals with comic book stores, material stores, and trim stores. Let me see if there are any other questions. If you use a lot of stretchy fabrics, we definitely want to get a serger. Yes, you do. You want to get a serger. If you use a lot of stretchy fabrics, yes, you do want to get a serger. Yeah, if you're using your own clothes, you can deconstruct them and use them as patterns. At the beginning of my cosplay sewing, I did that. I would take shirts, pants, or whatever, and deconstruct them and use them, for my sewing to help to get my pattern. But if you lose or gain weight, then you may have to readjust all of that. But yeah, but now I do specific measurements, and I use muslin. I like to use muslin material to. It's real cheap, but I like to use it to formulate the costume and make sure everything fits. And then I'll deconstruct it and use it on my actual material, because the material I buy, when you talk about four-way stretch material made up of two or three types of material, let's say cotton, spandex, and gabardine mixed together, which I use for my Star Trek outfits because it gives that rich look. You're looking at something that's like $15 to $20 a yard. So you don't want to make mistakes on material that expensive. So I like to use muslin, and a lot of the seamstresses in our group will do that too. They'll take muslin, which is like a couple of dollars a yard, and they will use that to create the outfit in its entirety, and then fix it where it needs to be fixed, take it out where it needs to be taken out or whatever, and then use that as a pattern on the regular material. Yes, I like muslin better than paper. I don't, for some reason I just keep tearing paper patterns. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too heavy-handed. It just doesn't seem to work with me. So I don't use paper at all. In the beginning stages I did. But once I fell in love with muslin, I just continued to use that. Let me see if there are any other. These guys got some really great questions. I'm sorry you couldn't see the show, but I'm going to give you where you can reach out to me, and you'll see all of my videos and everything there. Some guests to come on stage. Yeah, bring some guests on stage. Sewing is so much fun. It is. You choose not to learn to sew. You buy class. Yes, do that. Buy clothes, deconstruct them, add to them. You can go to trim stores, and those old shirts and old pants, you can go to trim stores and you can buy stuff to sew onto them, like hand sew. If you don't have a machine, we have people in our group, believe it or not, that actually hand sew their costumes. A lot of my costumes, particularly like with fantasy, because fantasy costume, mermaid costumes, I can just do that by hand. And then I use the Gorilla Glue, not in my hair, but I use the Gorilla Glue to put the little beads on and shells and everything like that. But there are some people in our group who just have so much patience that they don't even have a sewing machine. They actually sew everything by hand. So, and for some people, it's relaxing. It's calming to sew by hand. I did a Spider-Man outfit. I did Madam X Spider-Man from the Spider-Man series, and her outfit was just like a long red dress with a spider a web in the front. And I did all that by hand because it was just sometimes it's relaxing after work. You just, I carry sometime my stuff to work, and then I go after work and sit by the water, and I'll just, do a little hand sewing. It's a lot of fun. Um, Tonya, you cosplay at cons. What do you cosplay? Tonya Youssef, what do you cosplay when you go to cons? So for Black, hi, sweetie. So for as a Black cosplayer, let me just share this because this is interesting. I was listening to the other panel when they were talking about like some issues that you run into as an African American geek. My my start with cosplaying really started with one Star Trek, and then Renaissance and fantasy and things like that. Because Renaissance and fantasy, you can just be whatever you want. If you want to be a fairy, you can do that. If you want to be a woodland nymph, you can do that. And all that is not even like color based or race based. It's more like creature based, otherworldly type of thing. And then Star Trek was a big thing for me because everybody in Star Trek is all about respect for diversity and love of different cultures. So, you can cosplay anything you want. You don't have to be a specific race to put on a Star Trek uniform. If you put on a gold uniform, you can be any captain. You don't have to necessarily be Kirk because Star Trek has had Black captains and everything. This is something we're going to talk about next week on my Star Trek salute to Black History Month. So Star Trek and Renaissance is what I started with. I got into comic cosplay when I wanted to do the charity because, kids love comic books. And it was then that I found there was a lot of racial issues with, cosplay. I'm like, whoa, what's up with you people? This was a culture shock to me because when we do Star Trek and fantasy, we're having fun. And then I started like hearing about all these, oh, you can't do this because they're not Black, and you can't do this because they're not, I'm like, what? You know, I just didn't get it. Do you have the same
Well,
experience?
I have a question. When did you start doing like what year did you start doing the comic cosplay?
Oh, I started late. Like, I didn't get into comic cosplay till like maybe 2014.
Okay, because what happened with that was that the scene changed a lot. I've been cosplaying since around 2000, what, 20, gosh, 2005, 2006, and
Oh, okay.
like what ended up happening was that cons suddenly exploded in popularity. So
Hmm.
whereas in 2006, 2007 you could go as any character, and granted you got the looks of, oh, you're the Black version of this and blah blah blah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
started the social media blew up, and you started having everybody across the globe able to comment on what you were dressed up as. And so
Right.
it invited so much commentary from people who, felt like they had
Hmm.
ownership of these things. And it also started
Hmm.
really amplifying people who look like the characters. And that's when
Hmm.
you really started to realize that looking like the characters really just meant you had to be thin and white, and you could
Yes.
just change your
Yes.
wig, your makeup, and your outfit, and you could
Hmm.
be almost any character in the comic universes. And when you
Hmm.
were Black doing that, it would disrupt their understanding of the character. It would
Yeah.
completely change. They wouldn't recognize who you were. I was at a
Right.
convention with a friend who was dressed up as Shira, had the headpiece, the sword, the
Hmm.
whole look. And you could see people who were even in the Shira like fandom look at her
Hmm.
like, are you supposed to be
Yeah.
Shira? Are you Black
Yeah.
Shira? And so
Yeah.
it became this whole thing.
Yeah. You gotta be sure of another race. You just can't be sure.
You couldn't just be Shira. So like, and then you like, for me, I started
That's true.
realizing how much race really played into
Yes.
what these characters were and who they were
Yes.
for people and what they represented for people. And when
Yeah.
I was like, I will never look like any of these. I'm not
Hmm.
thin, I'm not white.
Right.
I like characters of varying genders, and I just started doing anything. Whatever I wanted to
Hmm.
cosplay, I would
Hmm.
cosplay. But for a little while, I was doing characters who did a lot of face painting just because I was like,
Hmm.
they're cool characters. And honestly, there were more characters who were blue in the Marvel universe than were
Yes.
Black. So
Yes. Hmm. And then you didn't have to worry about people saying, oh, are you so and so? Because so and so's not black. So if you got on a blue face or a white face or orange face, you don't have to worry about that. But it's interesting because when I got into, I was told by a lot of comic book cosplayers that it's all about supposed to be fun.
Hmm.
So anybody can cosplay who they want. It seemed like you said, when it became mainstream, when we started having the heroes of cosplay on TV and everything like that, then everything became like a Hollywood type of thing. And that's when it was like, oh, you have to look a certain way, whatever like that. I am seeing that that's changing only because of the pushback from a lot of cosplayers against that, in terms of stop mainstreaming our things, stop looking at us like we're supposed to be, Hollywood stars, or this is fun, this is fantasy, this is who we are. We love the comics, we're geeks, and anybody can do what they want. If a comic character speaks to you, cosplay. You make your outfit to fit your body, and that's one of the things that we've had workshops on, how to contour an outfit to your body. So this whole business, I don't want to wear spandex because I'm not thin. Oh, I'm too fat to be Wonder Woman. See, we fight against that.
Hmm.
We don't do body shaming, and we fight against that. And we just, our seamstresses will say, okay, look, you want to do Wonder Woman, this is how you're going to do. If your butt's a little big, you need to make the back longer because it's
Hmm.
going to pull it up, and then there everything is covered. There's like tricks of the trade, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, let's do that. And then they'll make the outfit like, oh yeah, look at me, I got a big butt, but you can't see all this, because everything is laying nicely. Because a seamstress knows how to make an
Hmm.
outfit to fit your body. So, and that gives confidence to people who want to cosplay, but they're scared because they don't, like you said, look like the character. And then we realize you don't have to have the same body type. You don't have to have the
Hmm.
same color, the same body type, the same hair texture, nothing. If you want to look like this character and she has orange hair down to your booty, well, you know what? You can go on Amazon and get you a wig that's orange
Okay.
that come down to your booty, so long as you have the money to pay for it.
Well, and see, that's where I like to interrupt that just a little bit in saying that you don't actually really have to get custom anything. In fact, for a long
Mhm,
time when I started cosplaying, especially when you start really looking at the outfits, there's usually a signature item for a character, and
mhm,
then they might wear like all one color. So for years, all my stuff was workout clothing. I would just buy
mhm,
black like workout clothing and maybe
mhm.
cover up the if there was an emblem or something on it. And
Yeah,
if I was doing
yeah,
X-Men characters are easy because you just gotta put an
that's
X on
easy.
there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
would make my X's literally out of
mhm,
cardboard and duct tape and
yes,
just put
mhm,
them on a
mhm,
belt and keep it moving. And
yes,
it
mhm,
was it was cheap, it was
yep,
easy, and it was
mhm,
comfortable.
mhm,
But as a plus size
yeah,
cosplayer, and mind you, the fashion industry has completely exploded. You can find so many things now that you couldn't find
mhm,
10, 15 years ago. When
mhm,
I wanted colored boots, I
mm,
literally would just put on like really like thick sweat socks and then wrap
yeah.
colored duct tape
You can
around my
do that. Yeah,
legs so it
mhm,
would look
mhm,
from a distance like I had on
right.
yellow
Yeah,
boots or red boots or something along
and it
those
looks that
lines.
way in pictures too.
Right, in photographs, well, in person, you're like, don't get too close. You don't
Right.
want to break the magic. But
Yeah,
in the pictures, no one knew I was making stuff out of duct tape.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's amazing what you can
Oh no,
do.
I mean in the beginning stages, yeah, I was using duct tape, I was using cardboard, I was using, little pieces of material and cutting little designs. I was using the spray paint. And then like you said, when it comes to making boots, we would take material and just kind of take the double-sided tape and just tape the material all around the boot that you had that you wore every day to work. And then and you could have different color boots.
Yep.
So, it's like that's and you know what, when people do that, that is fine and that is wonderful, as long as you're having fun. That's the main thing. It's up to you to decide. It's a
Hmm.
challenge, and that's what's fun about it. How much of a challenge do you want to take it to? So
Hmm.
like I says, okay, I want to try to learn how to do stuff using eva foam. I want to learn how to do stuff using the different type of glues. I want to learn how to sew, so I want to learn how to make an X-Men insignia using eva foam, or using different kind of hard base material that you got to take the hair dryer and you got to mush it out, and then you got to let it set, and then you got to put the stuff on it. it's a lot of work, but then if it makes you happy, if that's what you want to do, then you go for it. Because sometimes you don't want to be bothered with all that. Like you said, you want to take a sweat outfit, you put your little sash on it, you put your little cardboard emblem,
Mm-hmm.
and you're good to go. Other people, they want to, oh, I have to get the 5 stretch material with the 4 different materials mixed in it for my one-piece storm outfit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why you can't just use a top and stretch pants and put the little sash over
Right.
it?
For
But
mine,
it's what everybody wants to do.
yeah, for mine, I actually started when I was like, oh, I want a onesie. I wanted to look like a onesie, but I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
buying a onesie. So I bought leggings, 2 pairs of leggings in
Yep.
the same material, the same
Mhm.
basic leggings. And I took the crotch of one and I just
Yep.
used a seam ripper on it and pulled it over
That's
my
it.
head. And it was a
That's it.
top. And then I put
That's
pants
it.
on and I put a corset over the
Mhm.
middle. And everybody's like, that's a
Yes.
great outfit. And I'm
Onesie.
like,
It's the onesie.
it's not
Yeah.
it's leggings. The whole thing
Yes,
is
right. But
leggings.
they don't know that. They don't know that though.
I'm like, it cost
No,
me
that's
the
true.
most
That's
expensive
true.
thing was the corset, and I've had it for years now. So I've used it
Mhm.
multiple times. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can be very innovative about it and very creative
Mhm.
about it
Mhm.
to figure out how
Yes.
you're going to
Yes.
do it. It's
Mhm.
just fine. And then
Yes.
for me, because I know I'm never ever going to look like the character, I don't I put my own spin on it whenever I feel like it.
But you yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've done a Dark Phoenix where I gave her
Mhm.
an afro and like some bell
Of
bottoms, and
course.
I was
Yes.
like, "Yo, we are
Yes.
disco Dark Phoenix. This is cool.
That's it.
Just do your
That's it.
thing." Um,
But that's part of the joy of costuming. It's nothing is set in stone, and nothing has to be, this way, and it can only be this way. You can even do mashups. We do mashups. We
hmm
do gender bends. We'll mash one genre up with another. We'll do gender bends, and I'll do like a female version of a male character, or whatever. I've had guy cosplayers do a guy version of a female character, and it's like it's whatever you want to do, and it's fun and it's creative, and it's a good time.
Yep.
So, and that's what we try to encourage people when we have our workshops and when we have our cosplay panels at cons. We try to encourage people to just don't think that it has to be this way or this way. Don't listen to all these outside forces saying, no, you can only do it this way, you can only do it that way. You can do whatever the heck you want.
Anything
You
you
can make
want.
your outfit the way you want it. You can mash up. Some people really don't like doing um, the regular trademark outfit for their favorite characters. They will
hmm
actually do like you do. They will embellish on it. You can still see that they're doing Wonder Woman or Superwoman or Storm, but they'll embellish on it in such a way that is different. It's not the same costume that everyone's used to seeing. You know how you go to conventions and there's 5,000 Wonder Woman, they all look the same way. Some of my friends, they can't do that. It just bothers them.
Yep.
In fact, the only time we really emphasize wearing trademark costumes is when we do charity, because when we're going around the kids and stuff like that, they don't understand about mashups and stuff necessarily. They
hmm
like to see the characters the way they see it in the comic book, and they see you and they, oh, Wonder Woman, whatever like that. Kids are not going to sit there and, are you Wonder Woman, or are you mashed up with
hmm
somebody else? But that's different because we're going to see children in the hospital, or we're going to see children in the shelter. So we'll wear the traditional, costumes of characters when we're
hmm
doing charity. But when it comes to cons and stuff like that, I always like to do something different. I
Yeah.
always like to do something different.
Like, and there, the thing that we kind of forget, and we talk about trademark costumes, but all this stuff is made up, all of it.
Yeah.
None of it
Yeah.
is real. um
Hmm.
like even the art for the characters change depending on who the artist is. The
Hmm.
costumes change depending on who's doing the art, drawing that
Hmm.
particular comic. And once you keep that in mind, you realize that these little changes are not really that big a deal.
Hmm.
Everybody's going to put their own spin on things, even if it
Hmm.
is, just because you're shaped different. You're
Yes.
going to put your own spin on it, and you should lean into that if that's what you want to do.
Hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
It
Keep it
is.
fun. If you're not having fun doing this, you got to
If you're
question why
getting
you're doing
stressed,
it.
exactly. If you're getting stressed and you're letting people, I mean, I hear people say I'm depressed because, people talk bad about my cosplay. I don't want to do it anymore because this, that, and the other. And then in our group, we have people who have like, um, they don't like a lot of attention. Like they want to come out and have fun, but they don't like a lot of attention. They're kind of like introvert. They're kind of shy. So like when we do our photo shoots, I invite, photographers to come and hang out. But I always hire 1 or 2 photographers to make sure everybody gets shot. Because what I have
Mm-hmm.
found is that you'll see people who are really shy. They may be shy because that's just the way they are, or they shy because their outfits were put together by safety pins and they see everyone else with these glorious outfits, so they get like shy. And I make it certain, in my co-admins work with me, we go around the group and we'll say, have you been shot yet? Have you been shot yet?
That's
Have you
good.
been shot? And if not, then we take them to, because see, when you invite photographers, they want to go to where the fancy cosplayers are.
Yeah.
They're not interested in everybody getting shot.
Yep.
That's the way. That's why we make certain we hire. We have a like a crew of photographers that work with us, and we'll bring the people who haven't gotten shot yet to the photographers and say they haven't gotten shot yet. So then we'll pose them and they'll take pictures, because I want when people come to our photo shoots, it's like you said, it's about fun. It's not about stress. We have enough
Mhm.
stress, stress in life. I want people to come and have fun and get into your fantasy, get into your escapism, and get your pictures taken and posted on your page for your friends and family to enjoy. I want to make a mention. Someone said something here that was really great. Something about, oh yeah, that's the entourage said about four-way can be tricky to sew. Yes, four-way can be tricky to sew. Be careful with four-way. I would suggest you do it very slowly with your hand if you want to do that, or definitely use a machine for four-way stretch, because four-way stretch can be tricky. But I make four-way stretch for those outfits that I know when I pose, I'm not just gonna stand there. I'm gonna like do a leg extension. I'm going to do a right leg extension, or I'm going to, stretch my arm out or whatever like that. And I'm going to be like doing it like almost every photo. So that's usually like with my Star Trek. Okay,
Well, I
with my
would,
Star Trek stuff, I do that.
and I do want to say, Darlene, is it Darlena? Darlena?
Yes. Yes.
Um, that I want, that was a great point that you said about making sure that everyone gets shot and that you bring your own
Hmm.
photographers and that you,
Hmm.
make sure that everyone is included, because the thing that people don't realize is just how inclusion has to be intentional. It's something that you have to
Hmm.
actively do
Yeah.
and pursue if you want people to be treated equitably in the spaces. And that is part of
Hmm.
community building. When you're building a
Right.
community, you want people to feel like they are included in it. And it takes work to do that. It's very easy
Hmm.
to exclude, but honestly, it's work to exclude people too. And people are just, we're more
Yes.
accustomed to
Hmm.
doing the work of excluding than we are to doing the work of including. So that was a beautiful
Yes.
thing that you said. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you, because that was my, one of my heart desires when I created a group. I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of exclusion and cliques and glee clubs and there's this like kind of chain of great cosplayers versus those of you at the bottom. And I said, I can't do that. I gotta have people who think like me. We're about having fun and we just want to do this and accept everybody. I like the vaster entourage. You asked another question. Does anyone like to cosplay as their own original characters? Actually, what people don't realize is that cosplay comes under costuming and not the other way around. So we have people in the group who don't cosplay because they don't do other people's characters. They actually do their own. And
Hmm.
that's usually our independent writers or just costumers who don't want to, they're not interested in the established characters. They like to create their own fantasy characters. I do that with now that's where I reign supreme when it comes to original costume. And when it comes to my fantasy characters, all my fantasy costumes are my own little imagination. Even my mermaid. I don't do the Little Mermaid. No, I do my own. I do this African mermaids,
Hmm.
and I go back and I like to look at historical fantasy kind of creatures and otherworldly creatures. And I like to make those costumes. And then I may combine an idea from this century um, like mythical character with this century's mythical character and make them, mash them together. So I do the free will costuming mainly with my Renaissance stuff, and then for the comic book characters, I'll have the traditional costume just for charity, or if it's
Hmm.
a media appearance and they ask you to come in a traditional trademark character's outfit. But mostly for cons and stuff, we'll do mashups. We'll do our own little embellishment and things like that. Hmm.
Yeah, it's, keeping it fun is one of the most important things. Keeping it creative for you is one of the more important things. Like, the thing that I see happen to a lot of people is that they start centering what they think other people want to see rather
Yes.
than
Hmm.
focusing on what they want to do. And I understand
Right.
that if you're getting into cosplay to be popular, if you're getting in it to be, famous in some way or to get access to
Hmm.
other spaces, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if that's what you're
Right.
doing, then your joy in it will take second place to
Take second place.
trying to reach
Exactly.
that goal.
Hmm.
But if you're
Yes.
really just about doing something that because it speaks to you creatively and you love it,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
boom, you need to
That's what
really
it's all
keep
about.
centering that and not,
Mhm.
allow all of your choices to be influenced by what you think other people want to see.
Exactly, exactly. I just put in a picture of me in the chat because it seems like me in the share screen here is not working. I would love to show pictures, but it seems like I can do it better in the chat than in the share screen. But someone asked about makeup. Yes, um, I'm not the makeup person. I'm really bad at makeup, but we have makeup artists. They'll do whatever you want. If you want just regular makeup, just want to enhance your eyes a little bit, or you want full blown special effect kind of thing working, we have makeup artists that'll do that. But it depends on your cosplay. Some people like to, if your character has all this makeup and funny looking eyes and stuff like that, like I can't do eye contacts. I've tried so hard to put eye contacts in my eyes, girl, you don't know.
I've
So
done all of that. I've done all of that. Like, so for me, when
I,
I first started cosplaying, face paint became the easy way to elevate your
I
cosplay.
love face
Like,
paint. Yes.
so
Hmm.
easy to do.
It is. It
It,
is.
it is
Hmm.
literally, you just find, the paint that works, and people like Ben Nye, people like Maron, and
Hmm.
use a sealer and figure out
Yes.
how you sweat,
Yes.
because I
Yes.
sweat from the face.
Yes.
And
Yes. Especially when you're outside and you're in the Dragon Con
yeah,
parade and you're a Sith and you got that red makeup on and it's
you will sweat that
101
paint,
degrees.
and if you touch anything, it'll come off on it. But
Yes,
you learn to stay indoors and how to manage
you
it.
do. You
And
do. You do.
um, and I always say, ask people who do theater, who do the
Hmm.
theatrical makeup. They are fantastic about being able to give you advice on what products are going to work
Yes.
best for what your needs
Yes.
are. For
Hmm.
one costume, I did New York Comic Con. I knew I was going to be sweating, and they recommended that I use clown makeup because
Hmm.
clowns sweat a lot. But they also had to show
Yes.
me how to put it on and how to
Yes.
seal
Hmm.
it so that
Yes.
it would work properly. So, but
Hmm.
yeah, the
Hmm.
theatrical makeup people are going to really be helpful in all of that, and they do a lot of online tutorials and all kinds of
Yes.
things that are
Yes.
very
Hmm.
helpful. And practice. Um,
Practice makes perfect. Yeah.
Practice will always improve your game. For me,
Hmm.
when I face paint, I don't do contouring or anything. I literally just paint my face one color,
Oh,
and
really? Okay. Hmm.
I
Okay.
keep it moving, and it's worked
Right.
out. But
Yeah.
now I kind of want to play with it more, so I do
Yeah, the
experiment
contouring is
more.
good. Yeah. And then you can get into the whole latex thing. Now, if you want to do these like particularly like with Star Trek, a lot of Star Trek cosplayers that do aliens, they're heavy with the latex. Now, if you want to do a Klingon or you want to do a Cardassian, you want anything that has like the things on the head or whatever. A lot of Star Trek cosplayers are heavily into latex to form ridges and to form, the different type of features that stand out and are pronounced on a lot of the alien characters, which is really cool. And then there's makeup to use. Talking about makeup, this makeup that you can use that you put on your face and then you put the special effect makeup on because what it does, it gives it the look of how your skin, your skin has coloring all through it. So to make an alien look really good and to make the makeup on the alien look really good, there is a base foundation. A lot of special effect makeup artists in Hollywood use them. They've had makeup shows at like Star Trek conventions where they made someone up on stage as a Cardassian or as a Klingon, and they show you the makeup that is red. It's all red, but then when you put the special effect makeup on it, that red gives the face like a real life texture. So it makes the face look like real life. So even though
Hmm.
it's an alien makeup, but the face looks like a real alien face. It's not just like a clump of makeup on it. And it's the under makeup that they put on your face, and you got to let it set for a while. and then he put the special effect makeup on. So there's layers to even doing the face makeup. There's
Yep.
like you do, just slap it on and keep it moving, and there's
Can I
people who
jump
want to contour and do all these kind of little different things.
Yeah, like this is where I'm posting pictures of when I did Thanos and I made a facial
Oh, okay.
appliance out of
Yes.
liquid latex for that, which
That's liquid
was
latex. Okay, yeah.
his own thing. And yes, it
Mhm.
looks terrible right there. I'm trying to find a picture of when I actually
Okay.
have all the makeup on and it looks amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, it is something you can always like up your game. You can always learn
Yeah.
different stuff. You can always
Yeah.
just try things out and see how it's going to look. I can't find the
Yeah.
picture because I had this Thanos picture that is just
can I jump
boss.
in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so obviously I don't have a camera. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um, but I just
I
wanted to
couldn't show
talk.
my video.
I just wanted to talk technique for a moment. Um, Now I'm not a professional makeup artist,
Hmm.
and I can't speak to like skin allergies or anything like that.
Yeah.
But particularly when you're talking about, like Darlena, you mentioned Star Trek, like facial distortion,
Hmm.
um, and Talin, you were doing like Thanos, and he has the ridges in his chin and things like that. A lot of times, again, I've also said in the chat, I'm not a cosplayer.
Hmm.
I'm a crafter and I like to sew.
Hmm.
But one of the things that you can do for that bit of extra 3D definition for your
Hmm.
makeup would
Hmm.
be to actually roll up pieces of like saran wrap and
Hmm.
obviously keep it away from your nose and your mouth. You want to be able to breathe,
Hmm.
but you can build up your forms using saran wrap and maybe spirit gum,
Hmm.
Oh,
and
okay.
then build up your texture on top of that using something as cheap as like rubber cement. Now
Hmm.
again, skin allergies, you need to,
You have to
spot
be
test and all
careful.
of
Yeah.
that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you're going to want a releasing agent, so that would usually be something like baby oil or spirit gum remover.
Hmm.
Hmm.
um, but so that's one thing you can do to enhance the definition of like facial makeup if you're going for some kind of alien character.
Hmm.
And then to backtrack for sewing on stretchy fabrics, I wanted to mention the importance of stabilizer. Obviously, there are lots of different fabrics that you can use as stabilizer,
Hmm.
even like muslin you were talking about earlier, which is very affordable in a lot of cases.
Hmm.
Um, if you attach your fabric to something like like um, muslin or some kind of stabilizer, it makes it easier to sew, especially if you're using a sewing machine,
Right.
because that prevents it from stretching and bunching up.
Oh, yes.
Because I
Yes.
know from personal experience, when you're sewing with stretchy fabric, um, you can think, oh my gosh, I'm broken. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate sewing. This is not for me. My sewing machine is like turning into a demon from the ninth layer.
Hmm.
And you just want to throw everything away. So, to save yourself that frustration, I would strongly suggest using some kind of stabilizer, even if the only thing you can get is like wax paper. It's not going to
Okay.
hurt your sewing
Okay.
machine.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Hmm.
but the only thing with wax paper is depending on the kind of fabric you're using, it will slide around
Well,
a
yeah.
little bit.
Yes. Yes,
So,
that's true. Okay.
but I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention those things.
That was
That was it.
good. Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you.
suggestions. So I got the notice that we are out of
Over.
time.
So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I'm gonna bounce
Thank
off
you.
too.
Yeah. Check me out at Darlena Marie Cosplays on Facebook, and we can continue our discussions there. I have a lot of discussions on my Facebook page. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of the con.